Okay, the nice thing about with side proof is they're usually pretty easy. But we'll see. One of them that I'm going to sign is pretty hard, and we'll see if anybody gets it. I'll give you hints. All right, my picture might not be the best. It's going to be close. Okay, we'll call that A, B, C, and D. All right, so given. So that is AB is congruent to BC, AD is congruent to DC, and I'm going to prove, because I want to put a little twist in it, I'm going to prove that angle A is congruent to angle C. Okay. This is such an easy proof, I put a little twist on it. And so the first thing that we want to do, and I'm just telling you on this, the first thing you want to do is just prove that these triangles are congruent. So try to do that using not CCC, that's not a theorem, SSS. And then I'll show you the last step. So of course, first you need to write your given. You also probably need to mark up your shape, like by doing this. I do start with two sides, don't I? Okay. Your little plan right here, go do the SSS, and already I got this one and this one. So I just need to prove one side, and then we're going to try to figure out how to prove those two angles congruent. I'm going to see if I'm zoomed in. I feel like I am. Nope. Of course, we're doing these proofs in your book because these are going to be important for you to study before the test, because by the time we're done with this, you've probably done at least a type of every proof that will be possible to be on the test. Unless I try to get really, really tricky and difficult, which we're not. I'm going to try anyways. There's limited options. Okay, who's got an idea where to go from here? Yeah. So probably using the reflexive property. We use that one a lot. So that's just what BD is congruent to BD. Okay. And like I said, we're supposed to do the side, side, side. So triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. Of course, I do this all the time where I forget to put is a triangle, and you can't see that, but you can imagine what it'd be like if you did. And that's what? SSS? Okay, let's see if anybody can figure out how to do the last step. There's only one more step. And I know that this is going to be the answer. Look in your notes and see if there's some kind of theorem that we did earlier on that would help us with this. Because we know that this congruency statement is true because we proved it with the SSS. So we know that A equals C. But there's got to be a theorem that we discussed earlier in this chapter that would cover y. And your hint is it's also a bunch of letters. Yeah, what? It's not side angle side. That proves the triangle's congruent. And it's not in your book, it's only in your notes. Yeah, what? Yeah, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So make sure you write this down, make sure you make a note of that. If I have you prove two parts are congruent, we're going to use this every single time. And you put this right after every single time, right after we do, prove the triangle's congruent. Okay, question? Okay, and this is just a nice little note. It's just kind of an add-on. Do we still have to prove the triangle's congruent? Yeah. I kind of view this, sometimes we solve for x, and sometimes we solve for x first, and then we substitute it back in. I kind of look at this one like that. All right. The only way I could possibly have made this hard is adding this last step, right? Because before that, it was just a 3-step with the reflex in the middle. The nice thing about the side, 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 most of the time, not always, there's going to be a really tricky one today. But most of the time, it is this. And so we'll see if you get the tricky one right. All right, we're going to do one more proof for your notes. Because we had two theorems, right? We had the SSS and we had HL. And so we're going to work on one that your hint is probably going to be HL. That's not exactly the best, is it? But that's okay. Here's your, let's do some things. Z, W, X, Y, because. We're going to, given, not prove, given. Okay, so you might need to mark up the shape with your given. Oops, that's not right. Perpendicular to ZY and XY is perpendicular to ZY. Okay, and what are we going to prove? We're going to prove that triangle WYZ is congruent to triangle XZY. All right, marking it up. WY is congruent to XZ. All right, this one is obnoxious, and I don't have it shown there. This one's obnoxious because the triangles are together, and it's really hard to mark these two as congruent because they cross. So sometimes it makes it easier to separate them, and it just depends on who you are, what you can see, so you don't get confused. Sometimes it's easier just to separate them because I'm allowed to pull them apart. So then we can mark it like this. Okay. WZ is perpendicular to ZY. Okay. XY is perpendicular to ZY. So just those are my givens, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and start this proof and see if you can get this done. And then I'm going to kind of show you one of the details you're probably not going to do. And then I'll show you how to do that real quick.
Hey, what's the proof?
Do what?
What's the proof?
What's the proof?
Yeah.
Right here. Right there. There. I want to pull up. I don't want that. All right, lots of things are working well today. All right, do we have it? Of course, the given, that shouldn't be too bad. We just copy down the given. Okay? For speed's sake, I'm not going to write down the given. I should have been doing that, but I was looking something up. But you need to write down the given. Okay? So we need a plan. The plan is HL, which still we need three things. We need H, we need L, and we probably, before we even start that, we need to make sure that it is a right triangle. Okay? Okay, and this is the part that you probably, this is the hard part, and this is what I want you to pay attention. Okay? I know by looking at these triangles that they are right triangles. Okay? And that's the hard part about proofs. You know that they're a right triangle. That looks like a right triangle. I drew the little box like a right triangle. But I still have to go through the proof process. Okay? So what I'm going to say is this. Angle Z and angle Y are right angles. Right? How do I know that they're right angles?
790 degrees.
There we go. Definition of perpendicular. Okay? I translated that and I said they're right angles. So definition of perpendicular. And I'm going to say that triangle And the reason why I do these proofs for you is so you can kind of see and use it as an example to do other proofs. I should have used the exact same thing up there, but it doesn't matter. Since I went this direction, I need to continue going this direction. So it actually lines up correctly. There we go. All right. I don't mean equal. I meant comma. These are right triangles. Why do you think they're right triangles?
Because they have right angles.
Right? Sometimes definitions are the hardest part. We know that these are right angles because of the definition of perpendicular. And I'm going to force you to watch one of my videos in a second, just so you can see a way to study this stuff. And plus, I need the views, right? I'm just kidding. I don't need the views. Okay, so this to me is the hardest part about this. It's to understand the rest of it to me is easy, easy, easy. Okay? So first of all, now that I proved that they're this, what is this? Is this the hypotenuse or a leg? It's the hypotenuse. So plan-wise, I got the right triangle, I got the hypotenuse, and I'm going to go back to this original shape, and I'm going to bet that this is equal to this, right? Because of the what? Reflexive again. We see reflexive probably more than anything else because I wrote ZY is congruent to ZY because of reflexive property. Okay, and then my final step, of course, would be triangle WYZ is congruent to triangle XZY. How come? Okay, this is a pretty good proof. Which part do you want to see?
You got it.
That's okay. I was trying to adjust it as you were asking. And so these are good to put in your notes. And like I said, I'm going to turn this video off, and then I'm going to force you to watch a video. And then eventually I'll probably either print you the document or just leave you the document on Google Classroom. It's a good study document. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it.